Okay, we're back at Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network, originating from downtown Columbia Main Street, as well as 5 Points. We're at Steve Tannehill's group therapy, and the coach is on the line, Coach Chuck Reedy, and the quarterback, Steve Tannehill, who's also a former coach, but we call him the quarterback. He's here with us. How are you, Mr. Quarterback?
Hi, I'm good. I appreciate y'all doing this from here, man. This is cool.
It's fantastic. Group therapy there should be a historical marker in front of this place.
Well, when that Pokemon stuff was going on, it was listed as a historical marker.
Was it
so
really?
We had some stuff. I don't know about that, but
yeah,
we had people coming by here to catch or whatever. So 1978, man. This is one of Columbia's landmarks for sure.
When you were at USC, did you on your off days, wander by through here a few times?
We used to come here in the summers when we didn't have all that much to do.
Yeah. And
kind of actually had a free weekend. We used to come in here a little bit. Kurt Frederick, who played quarterback when I got here and played wide out, and Blake Williamson was my roommate one year. They came here a lot. So, but it is definitely a historical landmark, and I'm happy to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you got a bunch of former Gamecock football players here with you tonight.
Yeah, we got a Letterman's Happy Hour, USC Letterman's Happy Hour. This is the second time they've done it here, and I appreciate that. And Coors Light's been generous enough tonight to give away 2 tickets to the Carolina game for this Saturday, lucky winner. So we always have something going on, but we're a USC bar and Gamecock place, and I always welcome any Gamecock in. And you can see you're in here. It's burgundy and black, and we haven't changed the theme here.
They actually call that garnet.
Garnet and black. We haven't changed the theme. Just trying to add a little bit to it. We're so close to campus, and but it's this weekend should be fun. It's Parents Weekend, and to have those people come back, it ought to be interesting. It ought to be a fun weekend.
All right, let's talk about the Gamecocks, and I think we lost Coach Reedy. Have we gotten Coach Reedy back with us? I heard his line drop, so we're in the process of trying to catch up with him. So we'll turn to you and get your thoughts on the Gamecocks. A kind of a physical whipping they took at Mississippi State. Maybe a lot of people jumping on that offensive line right now for its poor performance. What did you see from those guys?
Oh, we got manhandled up front. I think we got manhandled up front on both sides of the ball. I think those injuries to a few guys on O-line have hurt us some. Going into the season, everyone was talking about how good the offensive line was going to be our strength. And, Saturday it wasn't. But I think we have good players up there. We need to get healthy. And to me, on offense, and I'm not talking bad about anybody. I don't want this to come back like I'm talking bad about somebody. We just don't have any imagination. I always used to say as a coach, at least once, we're going to get 7 points because we trick them. Something. Especially
do something out of the norm.
Do something that, one, I look at 7 points a week. We're going to trick them out of something. And to have 2 games in a row and no points in the first half is – I understand we have a lot of youth on offense, but we ought to be able to score something in the first half. We're not going to win too many SEC games if we can't get on the board in the first half.
Right.
And you can look in the NFL. You look at what the Rams did Monday night. They were one of the best defenses in the league, the LA Rams. And at halftime it's 14-0, then it's 21-0, and the Rams offense has 130 yards. Well, the Rams defense gets frustrated.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen if we don't score some points. So they have good people. Coach Roper is in charge of that group. And, I know we have one young quarterback, and Perry, I think Perry's played fine. But we have to manufacture points somehow, some way. And if your offensive line isn't good, let's roll out. But let's try something. I was disappointed in Saturday. I think I was really disappointed we didn't get Edwards the ball. I think he's a really good young player. And to not hit 0 catches to almost the fourth quarter or maybe the fourth quarter.
Correct.
He's our guy, and if Debo can stay healthy, he's a good player. But we've got to do something. And I'd like to see some imagination. And I'm not the offense coordinator there. I'm just I'm really going back to how I would be if I got shut out 2 quarters, 2 games in a row. We would try something.
All right, Coach Reedy is with us now. You heard a little bit there, Coach, of what Steve was saying about South Carolina's offense, basically saying try something, use some creativity to try to get on the scoreboard in that first half.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to do something. I mean, and, they've got to get some running game going. I mean, and, whatever they have to do that. Obviously, McElwain, gives them a little bit more of a dimension there. But, they're not good enough at quarterback, not good enough at receiver to be one-dimensional and go out there and try to throw the ball around and beat any good football team. But, to rush for 34 yards, I mean, they're not going to beat anybody if they can't do better than that. And obviously the offensive line is supposed to be, one of their stronger areas. But, they've got to find some way to, the only half that they've really played well was against the second half against Vanderbilt. And, they were able to run the football, and that allowed, Orth to be able to throw the ball better. Certainly, Steve can attest to the fact that if you've got a good running game, it makes throwing the ball a heck of a lot easier.
No question about that. Let's go to Clemson, Chuck. And I saw after reviewing that game, focus to me on offense. They made a lot of mistakes from a lack of discipline, I thought, to some degree. What was your take?
Well, what I think is, I think for 8 months they've heard, ever since the national championship game, they've heard how great they were, and you can tell them, and don't listen to it, and we got to do this, we got to do that, but they have listened to it, and they've read it, and they've heard how great they were, and they're talented enough, very, very talented. They'll get it straightened out, but they needed an awakening, and hopefully they got it on Saturday. And the other thing that I would disagree with is the talk of a national championship, and this comes from Dabo, that they're going to win the national championship. Well, that's all well and good, and it's great to have as a goal, but what you better do is take 1 week at a time. And, your goal better be to beat South Carolina State this week, and then the next week to beat Georgia Tech. National championship will come if you take care of your business every week. But to put that out there and talk about it, you're looking down the road and you forget about who you're playing this week. And, I think that was a mistake. And, and they've talked about it all off season. And, I just think, as you said, they haven't been focused. Deshaun, I think he got really frustrated in the second half. He missed some long throws. He had two long throws for touchdowns that he overthrew. It's just too many things have gone on in the offseason to keep them from being really focused on what they need to do.
Steve, as a former player, is the talk like that about the high expectations? Can that affect your play that upcoming season because you've heard so many good things about you?
No question. My take on Clemson is the game hasn't been big enough for those guys to really focus during the week. They didn't play that good against Auburn, but Auburn's not one of the best teams. Obviously last week, not one of the best teams. I think Clemson's way too talented, especially on offense. They're disappointing on offense. I don't think the offensive line has played as good. Watson has missed a few, but they have the talent. I hate to say that, but they have all the talent up there. Their skill guys are second to none in the country. The wideouts 6'8" deep. Gallman's a heck of a player and probably the best quarterback in the country. They just haven't looked like it yet.
All right, we'll come back a little more with the coach and the quarterback here on this Thursday edition of Sports Talk at Tanny Hills Group Therapy in downtown Columbia in a moment.
He don't know anything but when it's dark out.
Which one you talking about?
Bob, my manager,
He doesn't know.
he's not. I mean, it's not.
He's here all the time.
Like normally, they don't get here till about 8.
Yeah.
And then go home about 8.
In the morning?
Yeah. He's not. Like I don't see him that much.
Is that right?
We don't cross paths unless I come back.
So how much are you here?
I get here about 10 every morning and get kind of everything done. And then we open at 4:30. And I stay till 6. And the doorman comes at 6. So whatever girls here, bartenders, not by herself.
Nice.
Then I leave at 6.
So you want to get out of here before the night rolls in.
I usually come back Friday nights. Like tonight, I might stay till midnight and then go home. I don't have to be here tomorrow till 11:30.
But I mean, it's going to be a long. You're going to be here with the crowd this weekend.
Yeah, like I'll come back tomorrow night.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of places to go Saturday. So like tomorrow night I leave about 12 and 1. And Saturday.
Where do you live? You still live
I
here?
live at the Gates. Right there by the stadium. Yeah. I got one in town. Right.
Yes, sir. You should be back here second. Okay. I'm back at the screen. All right, so I'm looking at the sides, and I see where we took out those things. Good. Yeah, I like that. Just USC country. See all that white stuff down there? See, I thought we put more stories on the front page. Push those things, push those boxes down where that white space is. Put more stories on the front page. Okay. Let's just have that white space. That's a good quarter page. Okay, we're back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network, presented by South Carolina soybean farmers and their checkoff. Learn more at scsoybeans.org. Pork powered by soy. It's the coach and the quarterback, Steve Tannehill, alongside here. It's Steve Tannehill's Group Therapy. And Chuck Reedy on the phone, probably out there at his luxury estate at the lake.
It must be nice, Coach. It must be nice.
I'm really upset you didn't tell me we were broadcasting from Group Therapy. I mean,
I did send you a text.
Well, no, I didn't.
I was hoping to have you come by, Coach.
I was going to ask you.
I would be there right now if I'd have got the information. But
I was going to ask you, the 1 year you were the offensive coordinator at South Carolina, did you spend a lot of time here at Group Therapy?
Well, I needed to.
I know that was a tough year.
Soon forget that. Yeah.
Hey, everybody needs therapy, Coach. Everybody needs therapy.
That's for sure. Chuck, what about the Gamecocks? Get your take on them. Not a good day for them against Mississippi State in so many ways. You think McElwain, who we all think is going to be the starting quarterback and be given the chance to run this thing, from what you've seen of him, you think he's ready and can put a little spark into this offense, especially in the first 30 minutes?
Yeah, by all means. I mean, this is a football team that, everybody knows is not very good. They're not very talented. Put the young guy in there and let him grow and let him, mature. Like I said, he's going to at least give them the ability to make some plays in the running game, which they need desperately. And, go with him and hopefully they're going to get better and better as the year goes along. And, I heard just a little bit of what Steve was talking about. Edwards, I mean, those two guys are the most exciting guys on their offensive football team. I mean, 2 freshmen. So, let them have a chance to make plays.
Steve, as far as the Gamecock secondary is concerned, and Muschamp's complaint that guys in that Mississippi State game in particular weren't willing to tackle, weren't coming. Why all? I mean, they seem to have a pretty good second half against Vandy. They shut them out. You would think they would have carried that over to Mississippi State. What did you see defensively? Did you see some tepidness on the side of the defensive guys?
I saw poor tackling. the quarterback took off, we didn't want to tackle. And that's alarming. Again, I don't think Mississippi State's one of the top teams in the SEC. I think it's going to get harder. I saw poor tackling. These days in the game of football has changed so much. You just don't get to go full out and tackle. So tackling across the board in all levels of football is not any good. The Pete Carroll school of tackling, it works, but you just don't get to practice that much. So, but you got to have some heart over there on defense, and you just got to fly in there some and make some tackles. We missed a lot. We shied away from a lot, and I think Coach Muschamp said that. I mean, some of it was poor execution. Some of it was that hesitancy, I guess would be the word, to throw yourself in there. And we're a young team with some young players, and I'm like, I agree with Coach. Man, that's if we're going to lose, let's lose with young guys. I coached 16 years of high school football, and if I felt like we were going to have a good year, then we're going to play the young guys and lose anyway with them. But the next year we'd have way more experience. And I'm not jumping off the bandwagon after 2 games. But this game here is going to tell us a lot about what we have. East Carolina's a good football team. Beat NC State, talent at quarterback, and this will be a test. And being at home helps. And we're at home next 6 weeks. We're away 1 week and home. I mean, so we need to get this win. This is a must win to me if we want to go to a bowl game.
Yeah, win this one. And the way Kentucky's been going, you have to go to their place. But, I mean, if you win this one and play well, it gives you that confidence once again. You're 2-1. And Chuck, if the Gamecock could come out of September 1 before they hit that tough stretch of October, like they've got a chance to at least have a 500 season.
Well, I totally agree. And I think anybody at the beginning of the year would have been happy with it 3-1. And I agree with Steve. I think this is a must win. If you look at the schedule, you're looking to get 6 wins. I mean, bottom line, I think everybody would say that would be a very successful season. Get in a bowl game, get the extra month of practice, and but if they don't get this one, it'll be very, very difficult, I think, to get to 6 wins.
Guys, we thank you very much for your time tonight. Steve, I know you got a party to go take care of. Chuck, I know you got a beautiful wife to go take care of. So,
Coach,
you need to come see me over there, group therapy. I mean, we could be over there having fun with y'all, but
Coach, you need to come see him, man. I'll take care of that first one anyway. I don't know about the next one, but I'll take care of that first one.
Because you're a businessman now, right?
That's right.
There ain't no freebies. All right, Chuck. Thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
And we'll see you again out here, too.
All right.
Thank you. All right. The coach and the quarterback with us here on Sports Talk tonight from Tanny Hills Group Therapy, right here in the heart of 5 Points on Broome Street. Coming up in our next hour, Jeff Grant is going to stop by before he departs. He's been here glad-handing and mingling and doing what he does as a USC football legend. So we'll have him here with us in just a little bit. Let me give you the recruiting before we hit the top of the hour. We begin with an update on 2018 quarterback to Kerryon Joyner from Fort Dorchester. He will be probably the #1 player in the state next year. He's well down the road in his recruiting right now. He's got his announcement set for Father's Day next summer. His short list has been USC, Clemson, Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, NC State, and Auburn. He tells us he's pretty firm on 5. He doesn't want to say which 5, but he did tell us USC, Clemson are in the 5 with 3 out-of-state programs. No favorite right now. Of course, his situation, he's a quarterback. Some dub him as an athlete, which means they think he can play quarterback or he can play some other position. He's made it clear he only wants to play quarterback. And he said all the schools except Clemson are recruiting him strictly as a quarterback. Clemson's recruiting him as a quarterback/athlete, telling him you'll get a shot at quarterback. If it doesn't work out, you'll go to another position. His feeling is he wants to be a quarterback or bust. He's been playing it since the 6th grade, and he wants to stick at quarterback. This Saturday, he'll be at USC. He also plans to take in games at Clemson, NC State, Florida, Auburn, and Alabama. 2018 defensive back C.J. Smith of West Palm Beach, Florida, favors Clemson. Tigers have not yet offered, but he said he likely would commit if offered. He has offers from Florida, Alabama, Kentucky, Louisville, LSU, Michigan, Nebraska, North Carolina, Ohio State, and others. Clemson did offer 2020 receiver Michael Robertson Jr. of Hoganville, Georgia. In basketball, 6'3" Devontae Shuler of Oak Hill Academy in Irmo makes his official to USC this weekend. He goes to Oklahoma State next weekend and to Ole Miss October 1st. He's not set his final 2 visits. Also visiting USC this weekend will be 6'10" Nick Claxton of Greenville Legacy Charter. He visited Florida State last weekend and is scheduled to visit Georgia, Baylor, and NC State. Clemson today offered 2018 6'10" Manny Bates of Fayetteville, 6'9" Josh Carlton of DeMatha Catholic in Hyattsville, Maryland, who was a Clemson target, committed to Connecticut, and 6'6" Hayden Brown of Burns, committed to the Citadel. And that's it for recruiting tonight. You know, I wasn't doing recruiting when Jeff Grant was coming along. You know, I would have probably worn out his phone there in Silver Springs, Maryland, if recruiting had been my thing back in 1973, 74, 75, but I was too young to even know how to dial a phone.
Was that a thing back in 73?
It really wasn't a thing that I knew of. I mean, my first taste of recruiting didn't occur until about 78. So I'm not even sure. Well, Joe Terranova was probably doing something back in 73, 74 when he was listing the top 20 recruiting classes every spring in Sports Illustrated. But outside of that, it was an unknown commodity. So when we come back to group therapy, Jeff Grants will join us for a few minutes to talk about the Gamecocks and college football.
I always get that wrong. That's okay. Silver Spring. Why do I keep saying Silver Spring?
That's DC area.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm north of Baltimore.
You're north of Baltimore. You're on that loop on here. Okay. I always say Silver Spring.
Maybe Ron Bass is Silver Spring. I don't know.
Your old rival.
No, it's not no rival.
We all were. I know. Didn't y'all come in through the rivals and he was going to take your job and all that? Back in the day. Giving paper effort. Hey,
Then I coached him
were you a student assistant after you graduated?
2 years. Grad assistant.
But the night he rushed for 260 yards against North Carolina, remember
I
that?
was injured.
That's right. I'm driving home from the game. I was in high school.
Great. He's a great player.
Yeah. Hit deer. That's why I always remember that game.
No kidding.
On 378 between Sumter and I-95. I hit a big old 8-point deer.
You know, his son's a starting quarterback at North Myrtle Beach High School.
Yes, I did know that. Good player. I've heard that.
So I
What class is he?
senior.
He's not. I mean, I'm not hearing much recruiting.
Well, no, he's probably going to be a. Anyway.
Where is Ron? Is he still up in the upstate?
No, they're in North Myrtle Beach.
Oh, they were in North Carolina.
But he was for years.
He was up in Asheville.
Yeah, well, actually, Greenville, Malden
Yeah.
area.
And I think he worked for the Asheville television
Okay.
station. Yeah. Is he retired or is he still in sales? Yes.
All I know is son had a good. We were down there in Myrtle Beach. And son caught a touchdown, throwback touchdown pass, or whatever. We beat somebody the first game of the year,
Mm-hmm.
and we were in Myrtle Beach.
Chiefs. Myrtle Beach Chiefs. They were one of our big rivals when I was coming along in high school. Because Latta is in that.
Well, North Myrtle Beach was where Marty Woolbright's son coached, and then he went to Batesburg, and Marty told me
About Ron's son.
Yeah.
How old are your kids now?
Daughter is 32, with a grandson, and one can't put her on the air.
Yeah.
One,
I got the same situation. I got one's going to be here any hour.
you know, Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
He's
met.
going
Yeah,
to the Hall of Fame this year.
Is this your year? Congratulations.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
I mean, buddy, I gotta take care of him.
Is that right?
Yeah.
He's my coach.
Or he takes care of me.
Is that
I
right?
coached him in the first.
Were you?
Yeah.
When did you graduate?
In 72.
You graduated in 70.
71 was the last football season.
So you played under Beecher.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to high school?
Greensboro, Grimsley.
Greensboro Grim. Okay. Wide receiver.
Be here today.
Running the 4-3.
Punt returner too.
That's right. But the only ACC championship.
And you got that? You
Yeah, I got the ring. Yeah.
69.
I don't know. I got a World Series.
One thing about Paul, yeah, he played when we weren't in a conference.
That's right.
It's just terrible to play at the independent.
Pacific, Wichita State.
LSU.
Mississippi.
Georgia.
Well, you played some
Wait,
good ones.
Mississippi, Georgia,
Mississippi, Georgia.
Clemson every year.
Clemson.
So
I was there. Your
not
best game ever.
critical me.
Your best game ever. Probably your last one. At home before the bowl game. 1975.
I remember one time though, he punted.
Yep.
He punted. He returned a kickoff for a touchdown.
No, you did not.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
He
Carolina?
returned a kickoff.
At Ohio University, in that game, I rushed for 260 yards.
And set the rushing record. He set like 3 records in one game.
I did not know you returned. I did not know you returned a kick for a touchdown.
Oh yeah, 80 yards.
And plus he punted.
Why is my I knew he punted. I knew that. I did not know.
You can tell when you punt in front of Max Runiger for 2 years, and he goes on to punt the NFL forever.
8 years.
And
He was a heck of a
and
punter.
you're trying to limp around.
I did not know.
Ohio University.
Really?
He
The
set
game I
the-
set the game that I set the rushing record.
Yeah.
And beat
Well, if you rush for 260, what did Ron rush for against North Carolina?
210.
Only 210.
George Rogers beat you. No, who beat
No,
you?
Brandon Bennett.
And then Ben.
But I beat Steve Wadiak. Steve Wadiak rushed for 276. No, 256, and I rushed for 260.
There we go.
Rushed
Oil
for
run off the
260.
battery.
260 and returned the kickoff for 80 yards.
I just realized I was running my contracts off the battery the whole
All
time.
right, how many minutes did y'all?
It's nice to have it as a backup. I realized but good. All right, we'll talk with Jeff here for a few minutes before he departs.
I was trying to figure out when y'all going on.
3 minutes.
Okay. You got that.
You need it?
No, I'm just bragging on it.
Okay.
We're buddies. To be honest with you, we're all football players. We become brothers.
Oh, no.
We
Football,
are,
it's such a great fraternity.
Our sons are best friends.
Now, your son, who was a baseball player, right? He tore up
And
the
football.
knee.
Or both. One
And mine
football,
too.
and the
There's
next
two. I remember that. Yeah. Were they both going to Carolina?
Yeah.
At one time?
well,
No?
mine with Carolina, yeah. My son's just attorney general in that. Yeah.
Mine's selling wine like his daddy.
And he
We'll sell no wine before it's time. Which company are you with now?
Reinhardt Real Estate.
Oh, you're doing real estate. You're out of the beer.
I'm out of the beer business. Reinhardt Real Estate.
As in Reinhardt, as in not
It's a new company that's coming into Columbia from TBK, Rock Hill area, and I'm going to help them bring the company to.
Let's go ahead and get you hooked up here in a second. Knock this out. Okay.
good talk to you.
Hey, Jimmy, good seeing you.
Okay.
Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Okay. Jeff, can you hear okay? Yes. Not too loud?
Everything's good.
Yeah, does this all the time.
27, 42, Omaha. Do you have a pet cadence that you like to call. Like Aaron Rodgers, every time he calls, G19, you have my favorite player is
Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
We are back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network here on a Thursday night, located at Tanny Hills Group Therapy over in the 5 Point section of Columbia. KMAC and the Pro and Jarmart, they're back at the studios on Main Street in downtown Columbia. Plenty to come in this hour of Sports Talk. And a reminder for you, this weekend, make sure you check out the Garbage Line. You're at the USC game, the Clemson game, or somewhere else. You got something you want to share with us over the weekend that we'll get to on Monday. The number is 803-509-2705. That's 803-509-2705. Leave your comment. Don't rattle on for 5 or 10 minutes, all right? Make it fast, get to the point, and the good ones we'll play on Sports Talk. Speaking of the good ones, we've got one of the great ones from USC here with us at Steve Tannehill's Group Therapy because it's a happy hour time for USC football letterman that Steve is having, and former Gamecock quarterback and baseball player Jeff Grants has stopped by for a couple of minutes. Always good to see you.
Great to see you, and what a fantastic place.
Yes,
and I'm so glad Steve's got this place.
It's your first time here?
No, it's my second, the third, fourth. I don't know. Steve does a great job here. Everybody needs to come by and see him.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you're a Gamecock fan, my goodness.
For sure.
You get a chance to rub elbows with Steve and talk football and any of the other football players and former Gamecock athletes that come through. What are you doing these days? Catch us up on what's happening with you.
Well, I'm in the real estate business. I've retired from the beer business after 33 years, which was dog years, actually.
Yeah. Felt like it, huh?
Yeah, but, I enjoyed it and met a lot of people and all that. So now I am with a new company in real estate in partners with my wife, Jill. And it's called Reinhardt Realty, and they have come to Columbia from Rock Hill, Tegakay area, and I'm excited about it. It's a 40-year-old family-owned company that I felt comfortable with. So I'm going to try to help them out.
Well, I tell you what, they've got the right guy to help give them some instant name identification in Columbia. Let's talk football with you real quick while we've got you. And I know that you keep a close watch on the Gamecocks and have always had opinions about what you see with them. So 2 games in, what do you think?
Tough situation here. I talked a little bit about went to Vanderbilt with Mark Greiner and had the best trip I've ever had. Number one, and I thought it was a tale of two halves. First half tough, second half played well, and then watched. And it was difficult to watch. We didn't play very well. But I think we'll get it fixed. I have a lot of confidence in Will Muschamp. I think he's put together a staff that is unbelievable. Our recruiting is good. I think he'll get it fixed. But we have to play at home. So let's see what we do tomorrow, and then I'll have an opinion.
Are you surprised that at the end of the Spurrier time in South Carolina, that it ended like it did, and the program was left the way it was, considering where it was, just say back in 2010, 2011, 12?
I'm surprised, But there was only one mistake, and that's when Coach Spurrier said, I may have 3 years left or whatever. That was a huge mistake. That's not a Steve Spurrier type of thing. And I'm not he did a lot for this place. I think the world of him. He got us, what, two 11-win seasons and 3 11-win seasons in a row. And, my goodness. That was a mistake. But he knew when it was time to step down. He stepped down, and I don't blame him for stepping down when he did.
Even in the middle of the season?
Yes. I think he gave us an opportunity to get back in the recruiting mix and hire a coach and that type of thing. I think he did it correctly.
What do you think of Brandon McElwain from what you've seen?
I think Brandon McElwain is going to be probably the quarterback we have to use right now, although only because our offensive line has not done well, and you have to have a mobile quarterback in there when an offensive line is struggling. I think Perry Orth has done a fantastic job. I think he did a fantastic job last year, and from what he's done this year, I think he's been admirable. But if you have a line that can't keep people out of there, I think you got to have a mobile quarterback. Nothing against Perry. I think he's been fantastic. So, it's a shame, but I thought it would be different.
Sure. And what do you think of Muschamp so far? Not just the 2 games, but just from what you've heard and read from him since you took over in December and gone through the camps and the practices and the way that he approaches things.
I think he's my kind of coach. He embraces the ex-athletes. He had us all back for a quarterback camp that he had, and 11 of us came back. Steve and I were there. Gary Harper, Dondrell Pinkins, all those guys we all came back, and he embraced us. We were embracing him. He's recruited extremely well. He's got energy. He will get there. I have all the confidence actually in the world that he will get it done here at South Carolina. I really do.
What are your hopes for this year? 6-6? Something higher? Something lower? I shouldn't say hopes. I should maybe say expectations.
I'd like to be 6-6 and go to a bowl, and that's what my thought is.
Yeah. You'd consider that to be successful.
Yeah. The injuries, we don't have a lot of depth. So when you lose people like we have on the offensive line, and people are giving Sean Elliott a bunch of help, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's wrong. Okay? I mean, he's had a suspension, 2 injuries. You got to get guys that are cohesive on the offensive line. It's a tough deal. It's not the coach. We got to get better execution defensively. I don't know what happened last week at Mississippi State. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. All right, sir. Great seeing you as always. And good luck in your new venture. And I don't know, do you ever get back out and throw the football around a little bit besides that camp? Ever show off the arm?
A little bit with my grandson, but he can't catch it yet. He's only 2.
And by the way, it's Bel Air, Maryland, not Silver Springs, Maryland.
Bel Air, Maryland.
I always said Silver Springs for some reason.
And go Orioles, too.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yankees.
No.
We're the great story. We're the great story right now. I know you're an Orioles fan. Thank you so much for coming by. Always a pleasure.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. Jeff Grant, one of the all-time greats at South Carolina, visiting with us here on Sports Talk at Steve Tannehill's Group Therapy, and we'll be right back.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, sing it. Good seeing you. Good to see you. When is the induction? October 3rd. You're welcome. Take care. Okay. Well, let's get rid of that one. Out with the old, in with the new, except for the host. When it comes to the host, in with the old, and stay with the old. And they're like, stay with the old. Okay, let's get back to our plan here. What do we have left? Yeah. No, my text never went out to the SID. Stuff on my phone never shut out. So I did send one to Jeff Barrington. Yeah. Keep an eye on. Most chance have it shows. Keep an eye on. Yeah. I was listening to our conversation about two other fish. Really, I mean, I think if you don't put us down in queue, they can't hear us. Ooh, Jeff Grants. Which one? Mm-hmm. All right, thanks again to Steve Tannehill and Jeff Grants. Well, they don't come any better in the long line of USC quarterbacks than those two guys. Winners. That's the thing about those two. Just winners in their own unique way.
Whoa. Connor Shaw.
Well, he's equal. Some people. I said they don't come any better. That's equal. I put Connor in there. Okay, we'll make room for Connor.
What about the voice? What about the voice?
Yeah, make room for him. Got to make room for Todd.
I'm just making sure we don't leave anybody out. I don't want any angry ex-Gamecock quarterbacks.
No, I mean, there's been a lot of good ones. There's been a lot of good ones, no question about it. But I think these two are special. Jeff Grant, if you watched him when he played 74, 75, running that split-back veer that they ran when they had Clarence Williams and Kevin Long behind him, they were an outstanding offense. Zion McKinney at wide receiver, Ben Cornett at tight end. They were a terrific offensive line. They were really, really good. And he made it all go. He told me, I said, what was your favorite play to call? He said, this was off the air. He said, my favorite play to call was the ones that I called. And he apparently called a lot of them at the line of scrimmage. And so when I talk about South Carolina, they need Jeff Grant should be more remembered around the facilities there. You always see George's picture and Sterling Sharp. Let's see, who are the four numbers that got retired? Sterling, George, Wadiak, and Mike Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could make a very good argument for Jeff Grant. Not just, I mean, he was a two-sport star, too. He went to the College World Series. He's got a College World Series ring. So one of the great athletes to come through South Carolina back in his day. Let me give you the high school football report tonight. A service of Farm Bureau Insurance with new auto insurance rates from Farm Bureau Insurance. You could be saving a whole lot of money. Even if you've received a quote before, rates are now more competitive than ever. You can get a free quote today from your local Farm Bureau insurance agent. And we look at some of the stats leaders on this Thursday night, courtesy of the high school sports report. Leading rusher in the state with 851 yards is Ryan Smith of the Anderson Cavaliers. I got to be honest, I have no idea who the Anderson Cavaliers are. I mean, there's no Anderson High School. It's got to be a private school. I just don't know anything about them. Katrez Cook from Gilbert, 709 yards. Trayvon Prey of Bethesda, 703 yards. Gilvin Covington of Marlboro County, 681 yards. Leading receiver so far, Xavier Gordon of Chapin, 25 catches, 556 yards. Richard Bailey of Baptist Hill, 23 catches, 489 yards. Jordan McDaniel of James Island, 37 catches, 461 yards. Bobby Irby of Dutch Fork, 18 catches, 406 yards. Leading passer, Corey Fields of Baptist Hill, 1,228 yards, 14 touchdowns. Gage Maloney, Northwestern, 1,226 yards, 8 touchdowns. Dre Robinson of Rock Hill, 993 yards and 7 touchdowns. Clayton Coulter, Southside Christian, 984 yards and 13 touchdowns. Savion Watson of Chesterfield, 891 yards, 12 touchdowns. State's leading reporting tackler, Dylan McNatt of Gilbert with 76. Eli Shockley of Northwestern has 75. Dustin Rayfield of Chesterfield has 70. Leading the state in interceptions, our old buddy, the Najee Huzendub, Allendale Fairfax, got 6 picks. And about that many commitments out there over the summer. Michael Mingus of Dillon Christian, 5 picks. Chase Yoder of Louisville, 4 picks. Quarterback sacks, Sean McGonigal of Myrtle Beach has 9. Darrell Manning of Louisville, 8. Chandler Phillips of Baptist Hill has 8. And the state's leading scorers, Rodney Pitts of Sumter with 14 touchdowns, 86 points. Ryan Smith from Anderson Cavaliers, 78 points. Caleb Pierce and Stockton Fair, both of Porter-Gaud, with 66 points each. There you go. The statistics around the state, the leaders, courtesy of the high school sports report. All right, the Gamecocks are getting ready for East Carolina. Came back over there this week. Bryson Allen Williams from the defensive side came over to talk to you guys. And I imagine that it's been a pretty hard week on those guys trying to bounce back from Mississippi State.
Yeah, Will Muschamp was very outspoken about the lack of tackling, the lack of want to, if you will, from the defensive players. And Bryson Allen Williams didn't offer any rebuttal to that. He agreed and vowed to do better this week.
It's just the effort, not doing it. Basically, I was one of the guys, I missed a couple of tackles, and that's not me. That's not our game. Coach Muschamp doesn't, that's not what we do. That's not what we teach. You can see in the first game, that's not what we do. We just had a bad game. And you know, we gonna work to improve on that. I can promise you that we were definitely working to improve on tackling.
How do you improve, Bryson? I mean, do you have to break everything down and start from the ground?
No, it's just thinking about it. When you know, run up to a tackle, you got to think about, you know, buzzing your feet, putting your face on somebody, putting your chest on somebody. It's just, you know, wanting to do it. You know, you got to focus on it every time. You got to focus on making that play. And you know, we didn't have that focus, and you know, the result was what it was.
Fitzgerald runs from 200 as the quarterback. Right. What was he doing to sell that play fake?
He wasn't doing anything special. You know, it was us. Looking at the film, it was definitely us. We just got to make more plays. A lot of guys miss plays. Like I said, I was one of those guys that missed a lot of plays. We just got to do better. We got to improve on it this week.
Bryson, were you guys surprised at all at the tackling, or were there signs of it against Vanderbilt?
No, we were definitely surprised. You know, it was just a couple of plays that slipped out. And you know, it's just very disappointing because that's not what we practice. That's not what we've been going through since the spring. And you know, it's just very disappointing that we put that on tape. But so you know, this week we got to go out and we got to put better tackling technique. We got to put better things on tape this week.
Does it make it easier in your mind, though, for that reason, that you guys do feel like you're in position, but now you just got to work better on the tackle?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we see, like, that's the scheme is there. You know, Coach Muschamp and Coach T-Rod, they put together a great scheme. We just got to go out and execute, and that's not what we did. And like I said, it's just disappointing but that we let that one slip away.
How much have T-Rod and Muschamp talked to you about ECU being similar and, like, with spreading out and doing something?
They're definitely a similar team. They have a lot of great athletes. On the perimeter, they have a lot of, you know, the quarterback is very good. Number 11 is also a good player. We just got to go out and play this week. If we do us, you know, it's going to fall how it falls. You know, if we go out and go as hard as we can, you know, we'll definitely have a good game.
You had a couple slow starts on the day this week. How important is it to get out to a fast start?
You know, it's good coming home, playing, you know, in front of the greatest fan base in the country. You know, we're excited, and we're definitely going to put a better performance together this weekend, I promise you.
You guys feel like you put pressure on yourself coming home to do that?
You know, it's not even the pressure. We're just focusing more on, you know, making sure we make the plays because, like I said, it wasn't anything that they did. It was a lot of us missing plays, missing tackles. You know, we got to do a lot of, you know, we got to do a very good job on, you know, making plays. So.
After looking at ECU's film,
yeah, it's definitely frustrating because, you know, that's reminiscent of things that we've done in the past, and you know, that's not what our coaches coach, and that's not what, you know, they teach us. We have a great fundamental coaching staff. They teach us all the fundamentals of tackling and everything, and that's how we execute it. And, you know, it's disappointing to them, but it's even more disappointing to us because that's not what we worked that hard for. You know, since the spring, we don't work hard to, you know, go out and lay an egg like that. So
it sounds like you are taking this very personally.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Coming together and as a team and talking about it for sure.
Yeah, definitely. We just got to make more plays. You know, like I said, it was disappointing. Just looking at it, going back, watching it on film, you know, it's just hard to watch because at the end of the day, we got to make those plays. If we make those plays, it'll be a different ball game.
Okay, Bryson Allen Williams talking to the media earlier this week about Gamecock defense having to do better, guys, and hard to say where it has to start. I imagine it has to start up front with some control there, but then the guys on the back end have got to play better, and they've been called out by the coaches, and whether it's tackling or their coverage, they just got to tighten it up. And you might see some new faces back there, either because of performance or because of the injury.
I mean, you have to make a change at the corner opposite Fenton. I mean, Fenton's done very well. I don't think there's any problem there, but Chris Lamons has left a little something to desire there.
He'll cover, but he won't hit. But the interesting thing, Corn, is I think it's from the neck up. I think they need the offense to score some points early, and I think the defense will focus.
All right, we shall see. They'll get a big test from this very good East Carolina offense. We're back in a moment.
Hey. You know what? The funniest thing happened came back. It poured. And I don't think they ever finished it. No, I think they called it a tie. Oh, but you know what? I don't care about the Dodgers because we're up on Boston too. That's who I care. Let's go. We got Okay, Sports Talk here on a Thursday night. 800-956-7266 is our phone number. Email talkback@sportstalksc.com. And on Twitter, at Sports Talk SC. Been here with Steve Tannehill and Jeff Brantz. And walking around, saw some other former USC football players. Mo Brown is here. And their happy hour is pretty much over. In a little bit, the next 4 or 5 hours, this place will be consumed, I'm sure, by current USC, well, not football players, but students, some of whom could be athletes in sports. Because this is one of the great gathering places historically for USC fans, and I'm sure they're going to be making their way down here as quickly as possible once they finish their studies for the night. And speaking of Gamecocks and football, our friends at Founders Federal Credit Union remind you to relax on and off the field with Founders Federal Credit Union. It's located in the heart of Gamecock country. Founders Russell House location is available to help you with all your financial needs. Plus, they have a cash and check accepting ATM. It's located at ATM Row behind the Russell House. Visit RelaxJoinFounders.com to see if you qualify for membership. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA. Let me catch up on a couple of things here of note. Happy to see the news that Sam White had heart transplant surgery apparently early Tuesday morning, like 3 in the morning. And soon after that, they posted on his Facebook page that he was out of the operating room. Not soon. I don't know how many. Actually, it took about 4.5 hours. He was in recovery. So that's good news for the former NFL coach, Furman Hall of Fame quarterback Sam White. Speaking of Hall of Fame, the NFL Hall of Fame has released its nominees for the next class. We got 2 former Tigers and 2 former Gamecocks. The former Tigers are Brian Dawkins and Levon Kirkland. And the former Gamecocks are Sterling Sharp and Dan Reeves. What do you think, guys? Any of those 4 getting in on this ballot?
Ooh, I mean, B. Dawkins going to get in there for sure, and Sharp for sure eventually. I don't know about this ballot. I know there's like 90 guys on there. I didn't look at the entire list. Reeves has got to get in there too, right? 9 Super Bowls as a player and as a coach. Nobody's been to more.
Right.
5.
How about Levon? Levon, 1,024 tackles.
Yeah, a lot of tackles for
19 and a half sacks, 11 interceptions, and was, you know, when I think of Hall of Famers, I think of somebody who singularly changed his position because he was so great, and he was one of those. I mean, a man his large, wearing number 99, run down running backs and tight ends the way he did. I mean, come on. I think we think all 4 of them should go in.
We're still in the
we're pretty biased there. But Dawkins, he'd be first if I was voting on those 4. I'd go Dawkins, Sharp. Man, it's tough. I mean, Reeves did a lot. I mean, as a player and a coach. I mean, you got to put him in, and then I would go Kirkland. I love Levon. He's a heck of a player.
Levon Kirkland still is the largest linebacker ever to play in the NFL. I mean, because he was bigger than some nose tackles. That's how big he was. But he could move.
I think we got to start a campaign to get Cody Miller on this.
See,
on this list.
Corey, getting back to just eliding into the Hall of Fame and Levon Kirkland, and a guy like Deebo Samuel. This is what I can't understand. That's why I'm not a physician. How does a man that big run around, make tackles, as you say, running down running backs? And yet I don't remember a history of him having pulled hamstrings.
Yeah.
Then you get a guy that's kind of svelte, built like he can run all day, and his hamstring keeps giving out. It really physiologically makes no sense to me. I don't understand.
You wonder about the training, but I mean, today these guys train 12 months out of the year. Sometimes you wonder if they overtrain, if they're too tight, and the least little thing will tweak that hamstring.
You know what I thought about though, Corn? Is when Captain Munderland was here, and always would cramp up. And what was that Spurrier said? We looked and looked, did a bunch of tests, and our trainers just came up with the fact that he eats too much fried food. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. All right, a couple of other things of note out of Colleton County. Their football coach, Chris Collins, who's also the AD, has been placed on administrative leave pending an investigation into allegations of, quote, unprofessional conduct, end quote. A statement from the school district confirmed he's on paid leave with full benefits. And assistant coach Neil Smith will serve as interim coach. This is in the Charleston newspaper. Colleton County 1-3 this year. From Wofford, Todd Shaughnessy of the Herald Journal reports that senior cornerback Chris Amfield, or is that Armfield? I can't. I hate when the R and the M are together. It looks like an M. I think it's Armfield. Chris Armfield, who started all 2 games 3 years, has apparently quit the football team at Wofford. Hate to hear that. How about some good news? We seldom get good news in sports anymore. Ramon Sessions, the Myrtle Beach native, longtime NBA, good player. I'm not going to say a star, but good player in the NBA. Solid player, plays with the Hornets. He has gone back home, and he announced that he is donating $250,000 toward a project to replace the current facility that is the Boys and Girls Club of the Grand Strand, which apparently is not in real good shape. So mucho to him for doing that.
You know what somebody told me, speaking of Myrtle Beach, and that's a great thing, by the way, by Sessions. I love seeing guys get back to their communities, you know, a chunk of change like that. Somebody told me that Gene Cady has a house. He's retired down in Myrtle Beach, and he just shows up and helps Myrtle Beach High School in some practices every now and then. So how about that?
And all he has to do is stare at him. Remember that G. Cady stare?
Oh, yeah, and also the worst hair.
The worst comb over ever. I would like to go watch him run a practice just to see that in person. I've never seen Gene Cady.
Gene Cady was the coach at Purdue when Bill Foster had that heart attack, wasn't
he? Probably so.
Yeah.
He was there for about 2 centuries before he finally retired.
All right, coming up after the break, we're going to talk more college football. Jeff Barrington, the head coach at North Greenville, is going to join us. His team is 2-0. They get Newberry this weekend. That should be a heck of a Division II matchup, so we'll chat with him about his team's start. How about Scotty Montgomery, the coach at East Carolina, and his thoughts about coming to the Gamecocks land for their opener this weekend? Here's a little bit from Scotty Montgomery, first-year head coach at East Carolina, about preparing for South Carolina. His team is 2-0, coming off that win over NC State. What does he think about the Gamecocks?
Into a big-time SEC environment against a big-time SEC school with a big-time SEC coaching and big-time SEC talent. And we are looking forward to the challenge of going on the road with our guys. We've done everything to prepare. One of the reasons why we went to Charlotte was just to even practice every detail of getting on and off the bus, the details of practicing and playing and all that carried over. So we'll be prepared by the time game time gets here. This was a physical battle for us last week, and this will be another physical battle. They're extremely talented at the defensive line position. What they have at defensive end is extremely athletic. It's an SEC talented team. Physically on the interior, they're good. They're anchored at linebacker. They got great players. And Lamons at corner presents a challenge for us because he can truly cover and he's physical. Usually you get kind of a great cover guy that's not physical or a great physical specimen that can't really stay close to receivers. So we'll be challenged at that position. Offensively, I'm very, go back to defense just for a second. I got so much respect for Coach Robinson and Coach Muschamp. They've been doing it together a long time. They know each other. The communication won't be a problem with them. They know how to motivate players. I went down and visited them when they were all at Florida together because of an offensive coach that they have, Kurt Roper.
All right, Scotty Montgomery singing the praises of the Gamecocks came back, including Chris Lamont.
I thought it was interesting. He said in his comments that he was relying on Deke Adams, getting a lot of intel from Deke Adams. But what is Deke Adams really going to be able to offer in terms of intel? Come on.
Well, players. We'll be right back here on Sports Talk. All right, Yankees, let's blow this thing open. Let's blow this thing open and let's punish them. Let's punish them. You need Coach Farrington's number? 864 593 6584. 864 593 6584. Yeah, Jeff Farrington at North Greenville. Tell you what, group therapy's got a very good wireless. This place is huge. He's got 3 bars here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go home and go right to bed. Feeling pretty crappy. I'm not getting sick. Host Newberry, 15th meeting. North Greenville's one of 50 undefeated teams in Division II. That's called looking for something to hang your hat on. Will Hunter's their quarterback. Remember him? He's a good quarterback. 59, 60%. 261 and 2 touchdowns. Ashton Hurd, we had him on the Middle Pigskin Tour. He's off to a good start, averaging over 6 yards a carry. There was no capital. And we're back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network. Other football this weekend involving teams around the state. Of course, you know about USC in its game, and Clemson, its game, and State in its game. UT Chattanooga will be at Furman. Citadel goes to Gardner-Webb. Johnson C. Smith at Wofford. Charleston Southern is Idle. Coastal at Jacksonville State. That should be good. Presbyterian, which is averaging 1.5 points per game thus far after 2 games, plays at Campbell. It's Benedict at Central State. Mars Hill at Limestone. Limestone's off to a 2-0 start. And what should be a really good game as well in Division II, Newberry at North Greenville. North Greenville is 2-0. Newberry is 1-1. And North Greenville coach Jeff Farrington is joining us on the phone from the mountains up in Tigerville. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Phil. Appreciate you having us on.
Oh, yes, sir. Good to have you with us. Congratulations on the start. And you're playing your kind of football. You're playing great defense, and you got your running game.
Well, we've been able to work toward that first 2 weeks, and of course, it's week to week for us. We'll see what we can do this week.
Getting things started with that opening win over West Alabama, a established Division II team in a tight ball game. What did that do for you guys? I know it's just the first week, but what kind of message did they take from that?
Well, you know, we hopefully we took a message that it's a 4-quarter ball game, and you know what you do in the first half. It's not a half game, but at the same time, we take that message, but as well a way to handle adverse situations. We got down and we had some people cramping, and some people had to step up and answer the bell, and found a way to make some plays at the end to pull it out. So that's always good to see if you can make plays in the fourth quarter to win a game.
I'm happy to see that your 2 players who joined me when we were up there for the Palmetto Pigskin Tour, Ashton Hurd and Sam Houston, are off to excellent starts, as you would expect, leading their respective offensive and defensive units in what they do.
Well, they are, and we certainly expect that and want that from those 2 positions, and a lot of credit for, and both of them would admit this, has to go to those guys up front, and that's one area that we have tried to continue to improve is on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and hopefully we can continue to improve each week because that, you know, the way the game's played, that's just huge.
How well did you guys play last week in shutting out Lenore Ryan?
Well, we felt like, you know, we were fortunate to take the opening kickoff the distance, and that kind of got us going. And we were able to get our ground game going offensively. Defensively, we came up with some big plays. They moved it on us a little bit, and we were able to come up with some big plays at times to keep them out of threatening to score. So, you know, we felt like we played decent. We played pretty good. Their program's in a little bit of transition. They have new staff. So, you know, we're still trying to figure out where we are. And we've got a big challenge this week with Newberry coming into town. They put it on us last year. And, you know, they've been to the playoffs a couple times here in the last 3 years. And they've been a place that we would like to move toward. But, you know, each week is different. They do a great job. So we got our hands full and look forward to seeing kind of where we are now when we get them here.
Yeah, should be a great matchup. I know last year we talked about the loss, and they defensively they pretty much shut you guys down. 224 yards of offense, all that you had. So what do you recall about their defense? Maybe some new players, but I'm sure the scheme is about the same, and they will attack you guys pretty much the same way, I imagine.
Well, I think anytime you look at them, they play good defense year in and year out. And their kids play tough, they play hard, and they're in the spots that they're supposed to be in. They're very disciplined. And Todd and his staff do a great job with those guys defensively. So they don't give you plays, they make you earn it. And so we would expect nothing different this year.
What is your report on their quarterback, Raleigh Yeldell, and the dangerous things that he can do?
Well, he is a game breaker. He can extend plays. Not only is he a very good athlete, but he manages the game well at the quarterback position. He can throw the ball. He runs their offense well. He knows and has a very good feel for what they want to do. He's done it for 3 years. However, he's had to battle some injuries. He's a tough young man because he keeps coming back. And, we did not face him last year. He was out. He got hurt before we played him. And so we did not have to face him. But he's really explosive. He can create and extend plays, which always gives defense fits, and throws well on the run, but throws out of pocket. And, they're very multiple with him. So they can do a lot of different things, and they've got a lot of different weapons. I know they've got a little bit of transition up front, offensive line, but they've got a lot of skilled kids back, and running back is a very good player and just very patient and runs behind his pads and breaks tackles.
I saw where you had about 3,500 for your opener against West Alabama, and you're looking for an even bigger crowd this time around, 7 o'clock at your place?
Well, we're hoping to. The student body really came out in full force. It was a Thursday night game. This is really the first regular game week, you might say. We played 2 weeks, but this is kind of the first Saturday to Saturday lineup for us. So we hope we get the students out. I think they'll be jacked up and ready to go, and we want that Crusader Nation to be in full force for Saturday.
That should be a good one, and best of luck to you. We thank you for joining us tonight here on Sports Talk, and we'll catch you later in the season.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir, Coach. Jeff Farrington from North Greenville. If you're not aware, that's a pretty good Division II football team he's got up there with Will Hunter, the former Lexington High School standout, as their quarterback, and Ashton Hurd from Abbeville. Very good running back. It's a good football team. That should be a really good game between those two really good Division II football teams. All right, K-Mac, any news coming out of Will Muschamp's mouth tonight on his calling show?
No, nothing major. It's been pretty much standard operating procedure, at least following along with the folks on Twitter right now. One thing I did look up, Corn, while you were doing the interview there, the Dodgers did shut out the Yankees yesterday in Yankee Stadium, 2-0. On their own field, they dominated them 2 out of 3. And I think, actually, do we have some audio of Corn reacting to that?
Oh my gosh, Yankees! What the was that?
Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
that's what it was. That was Corn
Okay.
watching the Dodgers.
Oh, that's good. I thought they could have gotten rained out. I wasn't aware they completed it.
No, they completed it. 2 of 3 in Yankee Stadium.
But you know what? You know what offsets that came out? You know what really offsets that is that right now the Yankees are beating the Red Sox 2-0. All right.
Gosh, Yankees! What the was that?
Okay, we kind of got the gist of it.
I could listen to that all day.
Well,
I'm sure you will.
I want to get back to what Chuck Reedy was saying about getting a running game. And it's not so much that you open up the passing game. It's that you keep East Carolina's offense off the field. Interestingly enough, when Steve Spurrier was here and successful, he went on long counts, stood up sometimes, knew what the play was, and they just ran the play clock down, and then they either ran a throw. Some of those things you got to do against high-octane offenses so they can't get their rhythm in a football game.
That makes sense. And they're going to face a high-octane offense. There's no doubt about it. And this East Carolina team with a quarterback completing 83% of his passes so far. You can't usually do that against air. All right, guys. K-Mac, there's a spot waiting for you here. I cleaned off at the bar at Group Therapy.
I might have to belly up to that spot.
Come on down. And thanks to Steve Tannehill once again. Thank you to you, Pro, and thank you, Jarmark. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
They texted me and said there's a bad echo on the line.
Yeah. I may vomiting in this too. And I hope I'm not getting putrid here. Gary Sanchez at the plate. Very enjoyable show, by the way. Very enjoyable. Thought everybody was good. All right. I love that. I absolutely love that. Did you? Yeah, I absolutely love that. What the? That's great stuff. Okay, here we go. Coming down in 3, 2, 1. 2018 quarterback DeCarrion Joyner of Fort Dorchester figures to be the #1 prospect in the state in his class. And right now, he is looking at a list that includes USC, Clemson, Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, NC State, and Auburn. Though he says he's really got 5 firm schools on his mind. USC and Clemson would be in that 5. The other 3 would be out of state. He plans to be at USC on Saturday. Clemson offered 2020 wide receiver Michael Robertson Jr. of Oakville, Georgia. In basketball, 6'3" Devontae Shuler of Oak Hill Academy in Virginia takes his official visit to USC this weekend, as does 6'10" Nick Claxton of Greenville Legacy Charter. And Clemson offered 6'10" Manny Bates of Fayetteville, North Carolina, out of the 2018 class. Phil Kornblut, South Carolina, Radio Network Sports. No. Oh, South Carolina Radio Network Sports. Whew. Excellent. All right. Well, I'll see you tomorrow.